Welcome back everyone to Hades Tech. I'm your host, Hades, and then today we are going to speak on the data analytic career path. All right, so what it looks like getting to data analytics and what it looks like going past data analytics and what it might look like for you. Okay, so let's dive straight into this. Leading up to getting involved in data analytics and having your first data analytic role, how it might look like, and it will look different for a lot of individuals, but for some, they take the academia route to where they might get a major in data analytics and then go from there to getting a job as an entry data analyst, and then go to higher routes within data analytics itself as a data analyst. But that's a straightforward path, all right? And I get it that not a lot of individuals choose that path. And honestly, within data analytics, I could say this. I don't care if your major is in films. If you want to go get involved in data analytics and become a data analyst, that's something that you could absolutely do. Your degree does not define you. Unlike a lot of professions out there, this isn't one of them. So as long as you have the skills, are able to communicate effectively and efficiently within the business realm, be able to solve problems through data and dashboards and things of that nature, you're pretty much golden. But there's another path, which I've seen a lot of, which is let's call it the alternative path, is someone ends up going to college and they don't know what they want to do. So they switch from computer science to nursing to data science to mathematician, and then they end up landing on, I don't know, maybe like a liberal arts degree. All right, I'm just throwing stuff out there. Okay, so for that individual that did not major in data analytics, no worries. Because for that individual, what that path would look like is you majored in something different. Okay, cool. How I see it is now, for those that didn't major in data analytics, you're able to think outside the box. And within data analytics, as a data analyst, that's very important. And not saying that the people that majored in data analytics can't think outside of the box, but they're more so programmed to think within a box, essentially. So what the alternative path will do is they'll choose that route of degree, and then they'll probably get a job working, let's say, within retail, okay? And then they won't like the job in retail. They find out that there's a such thing as a data analyst, what the skills are. They start to learn them, get pretty proficient in SQL and Tableau and so on and so forth. And then they apply for a data analytics job within a consulting firm. The consulting firm has got a client. Your resume fits that client's needs for that particular pay, and then one thing leads to another. Now you're a data analyst. Okay, so those are the two paths that I've seen. I've also seen the third path as well, which is where individuals don't go to college at all and then get a few certifications in data analytics and then become a data data analysts or sometimes data scientists. So I have seen that too. But we're just going to speak about these two paths. All right. So now that you have the role, and after about 3 or 4 years, you're going to move to a senior analyst role. Even if you might not have the title, you, after like 4 years, are considered, after about 4 or 5 years, you are considered a senior data analyst. Period. Once again, it does not matter about your title. It matters about the experience and the amount of years that you put into it. And then let's say, for example, after 5 or 6 years, you're just kind of burnt out. You know, tasks have been thrown at you left and right. Your workload is getting pretty intense, and you just need a break. So you go ahead and you take that break, and then you find out, you know, I think I'm going to do something else. There's other paths that you can take, such as from data analytics, you could bridge out to data science, which is more so math heavy. So just be prepared for that. And don't get it wrong, a lot of machines have automated the process of dealing with the whole mathematics. And ultimately within data science, what I've found is, at least with some of the algorithms, a lot of its basic structure, it's not like how you think it would be, where it's, you have to code up something that hasn't ever been coded up, and now you have this algorithm that's particular to you for you to make predictions on the future based on data sets. All right, don't think of it like that. I wish I could find it, but ultimately there's an algorithm for everything that you're trying to do. And especially now that AI has entered in, it's making data science a lot easier for a lot of individuals. But don't get it wrong, that interview process will weed you out if you are not at least literate in, I would say, Algebra 2. Now, moving on. There's also the data engineer route. Data engineer is more so building out pipelines, things of that nature. For the most part, they're slightly heavy on the Python or R side of things when it comes down to coding. So that's just something to keep in mind, is if you are going to do that data engineer route, then expect to enhance, or if not, learn Python or R a little bit more for your data needs. Next, then you have the side of, so we had the data science, the data engineer, and then there's the data architecture. All right, so this is a senior role within the data realm. And for those individuals, they're gonna need to know how the data is structured within a database, the types of databases to use for different problems, just the whole 9 yards, not only the technical side, but also the business side of things as well, and how to implement these databases and ensure that data is flowing to them properly. It's a lot, but the pay is equivalent to the work that you're doing. All right, even though the work is a lot, the pay is, for the most part, everything I've seen is a lot. So moving on from there, let's say, for example, you're done with the data world. All right, you're like, you know what, I'm burnt out. I just don't want any part of it anymore. From there, you can move to management, especially if you were in a senior role. You could go ahead and move to even sometimes upper management, such as like a engineering manager. Let's see here. You could move into a director of analytics role. And the reason why you could pivot so quickly from a senior analyst to becoming like a director of analytics is because you already have the experience. You know, you have the know-how, you have the business acumen, you have the tech side of things. You're able to bridge that gap. You're able to communicate effectively, and you solved a crap ton of business problems. So that is extremely valuable for companies, and they're willing to pay accordingly for that. And if they're not, move on. From there, let's say there's also other stuff that you could do as well, but it takes a little bit more understanding in different realms, such as like a CTO, a chief technology officer. But I think first you want to get your feet wet, becoming a director, and then move on from there to becoming chief information officer, chief technology officer. I really don't see this role too much, and I think it's slowly starting to become obsolete, but something called a chief data officer. And the reason why I say it like that, because I haven't seen it too much, all right? But there's multiple avenues that you could take, and you would have to go ahead and do your own research on every one of these, because they're great fields to jump in, whether that be chief data officer, CIO, CTO, you name it. They're their own, I want to say, broad / specialized type of role. And once you do more research into that, then you'll be able to find out which best suits you. Aim after that path. Do not deviate from it, because if so, I promise you, within 3 years from now, you'll look back on when you were aiming towards whatever you were trying to do, whatever title you were aiming after. And you're gonna be like, damn, whatever happened to that? And then you're gonna go and you're gonna start refreshing and so on and so forth. And then it's gonna be like another 2 years. Don't do that to yourself. Stay the path. Let's see here. Another thing I'll say about all of this is don't worry too much about titles. I get it that titles matter in corporate America. It is what it is. But try not to harp too much on it. From my experience, there's individuals that are doing jobs that their title does not even reflect. So just let that soak in. All right. So it's more about the description of what you're doing more than your title per se. Because I've seen people go from senior data analyst all the way up to chief information officer. I've seen that. So don't think just because you have this one particular title that you can't make a massive jump. All right. And it's also about the people you know. So, and that is what it is. It's also, once again, about the people that you know. It's not all about what you know, it's who you know. So just keep that in mind. But this concludes this video, because if not, it's easily going to be a 20-minute video. So until the next time, everyone, take care.